Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 10-Minute English. It is June 8th, and I'm Emily, your host for today.
Hi, everyone. I am Lisa. Honestly, I woke up earlier than I planned this morning, and the light through the kitchen window had this very specific blue tone.
That sounds beautiful. I had a quiet morning too, actually, at the cafe near my place.
Oh, your usual spot. What caught your eye there?
From my window seat, I noticed a tiny moth on the inside of the glass. The moment I looked closer, I realized science was already happening on that window.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
The moth was navigating by light, the barista was timing pour-over extraction, the leaves outside were doing photosynthesis, all at once. Hold on, so my Monday morning coffee was basically a chemistry experiment this whole time? Pretty much. And that is the feeling I want to start with today. Wherever you look this morning, there's a science story going on quietly.
I love that frame for a Monday. So that's our theme today, I guess.
Exactly. 3 stories that all live inside that one idea. First, a Google-backed project that wants to release millions of special mosquitoes in 2 American states. Special mosquitoes in summer. Okay, I have a lot of questions about that one. Second, a NASA satellite image of northern Australia showing land managers lighting small fires on purpose to prevent worse ones later. Fighting fire with fire from space? That sounds almost poetic for a Monday. And third, scientists in Egypt found a 62-million-year-old fossil site so packed with fish that one journalist called it a petrified aquarium. A petrified aquarium? My imagination just went somewhere amazing. Before we dive in, if you're new here, this is your daily 10 minutes of natural English conversation. We turn real-world news into a calm cafe chat, perfect for listening and shadowing practice. No textbook tone, no stress. Just 2 friends and 3 good stories. Hit subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow. And today's keyword, the one that quietly connects all 3 stories, is wherever. W-H-E-R-E-V-E-R.
Wherever, like in any place, no matter where you happen to be.
Exactly. A small, almost invisible word that carries a big idea. Science isn't just in one building, it's wherever you look.
Got it. Let's see where wherever takes us today.
Let's start with our first story. A project backed by Google has asked for permission to release millions of special mosquitoes in 2 American states this summer.
Hold on. They want to release more mosquitoes? That sounds like the opposite of what most people want on a summer morning.
I had the same reaction at first, but the trick is in what kind of mosquitoes they are. These are sterile males carrying a bacterium called Wolbachia.
Sterile means they cannot produce offspring, right? And Wolbachia is the part that needs explaining for sure.
Exactly. The males mate with wild females, but the eggs do not hatch, so the next generation gets smaller and smaller naturally.
Oh, I see. So you're basically fighting the mosquito population by giving it dead-end dates.
That is a perfect way to put it. And the Wolbachia bacterium itself is naturally found in many insects already. It's harmless to humans, pets, and wildlife.
Good, because the headlines about bacteria-carrying mosquitoes can sound scary in a vacuum.
Right. The target is one specific species, Aedes aegypti. That mosquito is the main carrier of dengue and other tropical illnesses.
Dengue is really serious, so even cutting that population down a little would mean fewer cases of bad illness.
Exactly. And the scale of the release plan is what makes this news. They're asking to release up to 32 million sterile males in a single year.
32 million. That's a real fleet. And some reports say it could be even more over 2 years, right?
Yes, the 2-year total has been quoted as twice that. The target states are California and Florida, where the mosquito has been spreading.
And the EPA, the environmental agency, has to approve this first, so nothing is actually released yet.
Correct. The agency opened a public comment window that closed on June 5th. Now they'll review feedback and decide.
That makes sense. So if I'm a regular person watching this, what should I take from it?
I think the takeaway is that science is finding quieter solutions, not chemicals, not poison, just a small biological trick.
I love that framing. Using nature to manage nature feels gentler than spraying everything.
Beautifully put. And here's the keyword tie-in. Wherever Aedes aegypti spreads, science is now following with this quieter answer.
Wherever, already showing up in Story 1.
Moving on to our second story, NASA's Earth Observatory published a striking satellite picture on June 5th, showing northern Australia using small, deliberate fires to manage the land.
Deliberate fires. So they are starting fires on purpose to prevent worse fires later? That feels counterintuitive at first.
It does, until you hear how it works. Land managers in the Northern Territory light low-intensity fires in the early morning when the grass and brush still hold some moisture.
My grandfather used to talk about something like this, actually. He grew up near rural land, and he said the old farmers would burn small patches in winter to protect the rest.
That tradition is exactly the spirit of what this image shows. By burning a little on your own terms, you reduce what they call the fuel load.
Fuel load just means the amount of dry stuff that could burn, right? The leaves, the grass, the dry branches.
Exactly. If you reduce that early in the season, a wildfire later cannot grow as big or as hot. You take the worst-case scenario off the table before it shows up.
Wait, so you can literally watch this strategy unfold from orbit?
Yes, the image was captured by a sensor called MODIS, riding on a NASA satellite on the afternoon of May 28th. From space, you can see the smoke plumes and the hot spots scattered across the land.
That is wild. The long-term satellite record probably shows a real shift, too.
It does. Since these programs started, fire activity has shifted from later in the season to earlier in the season. More small, early fires, fewer big, late ones.
Which is exactly the goal. That's such a quiet kind of progress when you think about it.
And here's the beautiful human side. The local programs combine indigenous land management knowledge with modern satellite tools, all working toward the same answer. That part really moves me. Old wisdom and new data both arriving at the same conclusion. It's rare to see traditional knowledge and modern technology agreed this completely. And once you see it that way, the paradox kind of dissolves. Fighting fire with fire isn't reckless. It's actually the most careful thing you can do. Beautifully put. And there's our key word again. Wherever the savanna could burn worse later in the year, small early lines are already holding the door.
Wherever. Story 2 checks in too.
Finally, our third topic today. Scientists working in the eastern desert of Egypt have uncovered a fossil site so rich with fish that National Geographic called it a petrified aquarium. That phrase alone makes me want to read the whole article. Petrified aquarium. My imagination just built an entire scene. I had the same reaction. What does your imagination show you exactly? Honestly, a still, ancient pool with every single fish frozen mid-swim like a museum diorama made of stone. That is actually not far off. The site is called Cria 3, and researchers have collected around 500 fish fossils from it. 500. Most fossil sites give you 1 or 2 good specimens, and you celebrate. 500 is a different scale entirely. Exactly. And the age is what makes it really special. The fossils are about 62 million years old, which puts them just after the dinosaurs went extinct.
62 million. So we're talking about the ocean while it was recovering from that huge event.
About 4 million years after the mass extinction, to be specific. The team found more than 20 types of ray-finned fish spread across 9 larger groups.
Ray-finned just means fish with bony, ray-supported fins, basically the family most modern fish belong to. That's a real living window.
Exactly. The most common ones at CREA 3 are moonfish. They also found the earliest known relatives of tuna and even complete pipefish skeletons.
Wait, tuna's ancestors? That's wild. Every time I open a can of tuna, I'm eating a great-great-grandchild of these little fossils.
That's a perfect way to feel the connection. The lead researcher, Sanaa El-Sayed, calls this site one of the clearest windows we have into how modern ocean life rebuilt itself.
That's a strong line. And the paper's published in a real journal too, right? Not just a blog post?
Yes, in Science Advances on June 3rd, the paper also helps fill in something paleontologists call the Patterson Gap, a long stretch of missing fossils in the ray-finned record.
So a single dig site quietly answers a question that had been open for decades. That kind of stops me, honestly.
It really is one of those quiet, huge discoveries. And here's the thing I keep coming back to. 3 different stories, 3 very different distances.
Mosquitoes outside our window, smoke plumes over a savanna, a fossil pool in a desert.
All of them the same idea.
Oh, I just got it. Wherever you look closely, science is already there, waiting for someone to notice.
That's the connection. The key word today is not just a word, it's almost a way of paying attention.
Story 1 was science you can hardly see. Story 2 was science you can only see from space. Story 3 needed someone to dig deep into the earth. All of it is wherever.
Beautifully put. 3 different distances, 1 shared keyword.
What a Monday recap. That actually moved me a little.
So today's keyword was wherever, and it showed up in 3 really different shapes.
Take us through them one more time.
First, wherever mosquitoes spread, science is now answering with a quieter biological approach instead of more chemicals.
Second, wherever the savanna could burn worse later in the year, satellites and traditional knowledge work together to start small fires early.
And third, wherever you dig deep enough into the right desert, the old oceans of 62 million years ago can come back into the light.
I really like that we ended on something so ancient. It puts our coffee morning into a much bigger perspective.
Some other phrases worth keeping today? Fight fire with fire, a petrified aquarium, sterile males, and ray-finned fish.
And the small but mighty word wherever. I can already think of 3 ways I will use it this week.
Like what?
Like, wherever I am after lunch, I will try to take a short walk. Or wherever this work week takes me, I want to stay curious.
That is exactly the spirit of the word. It's open-ended in a hopeful way, which feels right for a Monday.
We want to keep bringing you stories you actually care about. So a little ask from us today. Which story stuck with you the most?
Option A is the Wolbachia mosquito story, quiet biology fighting big diseases.
A really clever one. Option B is the prescribed burn story, fighting fire with fire from orbit.
And option C is the petrified aquarium story, 500 fish frozen for 62 million years.
For me, this is a really close call, but I think I have to go with C. My imagination wouldn't let it go all morning.
I'll pick B, actually. The idea that old knowledge and new satellites can land on the same answer feels important to me right now.
A meaningful Monday pick. Tell us your choice in the comments. A, B, or C, in any language, and even 1 emoji is enough.
If you enjoyed today's chat, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss tomorrow.
Comments make this whole thing feel like a real conversation, not just a broadcast. So drop a line if you can.
wherever you find yourself today, I hope you stop, look once, and notice one quiet thing.
And take care of the small details. The moth on the window, the light on the kitchen floor, those count too.
See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.